Have you ever had a secret so big, so heavy, that it seemed to swallow you whole? Something you couldn't tell anyone, no matter how much you wanted to. That was the situation I found myself in with my best friend, Sarah. We had been friends since we were kids. Our families were close, and we were inseparable throughout school. Where Sarah went, I went. We were the kind of friends who knew each other's quirks, knew each other's fears, and shared every little detail of our lives. Or so I thought. It wasn't until the summer after our junior year of high school that I learned Sarah was keeping a secret from me. A secret so big, so painful, that it felt like it was consuming her from the inside out. At first, I didn't even notice. I thought things were fine. But slowly, something changed. Sarah wasn't herself. She was distant, distracted, and every time I tried to talk to her about it, she'd just brush it off with a half-hearted excuse. It started with little things. She'd cancel plans last minute, or show up late to hang out. She wouldn't talk as much about school or boys like she used to. It was like she was carrying a weight that she couldn't share, and I had no idea what it was. Then, one evening, we were hanging out at her house, just like we always did. It was a warm summer night, and we were sitting on the porch, watching the stars. It was the kind of night where everything felt peaceful, and I thought maybe Sarah was finally going to tell me what was bothering her. But instead, she seemed more closed off than ever. "Sarah, you've been acting strange lately," I said, trying to sound casual. "What's going on? You can talk to me, you know that, right?" She didn't look at me. Instead, she stared out at the darkening sky, her fingers twirling nervously around a bracelet on her wrist. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, her voice tight. "I'm fine." But I knew she wasn't fine. I could see it in her eyes, the way they darted around, the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. It was the look of someone carrying a burden too heavy to bear. And I couldn't let it go. "Sarah, please," I pressed. "You can tell me anything. You know that." She hesitated, and for a moment, I thought she was going to say something. But then, she shook her head, her lips trembling. "I can't. Not yet." And that was it. She stood up and went inside, leaving me sitting there on the porch, completely in the dark. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to think that everything was okay, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next few weeks were more of the same. Sarah continued to pull away, and I continued to worry. I tried to give her space, but it hurt me to see her like this. I missed my best friend, the girl who was always laughing, always making plans, always so full of life. But now, she was a shadow of herself, and I had no idea why. And then, one day, it all came crashing down. It was a Friday afternoon, the last day of school before summer break. I was standing by my locker, chatting with a few friends when Sarah appeared out of nowhere. Her face was pale, and her eyes were red, as if she had been crying for hours. "Sarah?" I asked, concerned. "Are you okay?" She nodded, but I could tell she wasn't. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can we go somewhere private?" I followed her down the hallway to the nearest empty classroom. She closed the door behind us and turned to face me, her eyes wide with fear. "I've been lying to you," she said, her voice shaking, "and I need to tell you the truth." At that moment, my heart skipped a beat. I had no idea what she was going to say, but I knew it was going to change everything. "I've been hiding something from you," Sarah continued, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "Something that I'm not proud of." I waited, my stomach twisting in knots. "What is it, Sarah? You can tell me." She hesitated, looking down at her hands, before finally speaking the words that I would never forget. "I'm pregnant." It felt like the world stopped spinning for a moment. I just stared at her, trying to process what she had just said. My best friend. Pregnant? It didn't make sense. Sarah had always been so careful, so responsible. She had dreams, plans for the future. How could this be happening? I found out last month, she said, her voice barely audible. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, especially you. I was so scared, and I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't even want to admit it to myself. I was stunned. My mind raced, trying to make sense of everything she had just told me. But the only thing I could think of was how much pain and fear Sarah must have been carrying all by herself. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about the pregnancy. It was about the fact that she had been alone in this, holding this secret for so long. And I had no idea. "I'm so sorry, Emily," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I should have told you sooner. I didn't know how." I didn't know what to say. I wanted to be angry, to demand why she hadn't come to me sooner, why she hadn't trusted me with the truth. But I couldn't, because all I could feel was sympathy. Sympathy for her fear, her confusion, and her pain. I reached out and hugged her, holding her tightly as she sobbed in my arms. I didn't know what the future held for her or for us, but I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going to leave her alone with this. "I'm here for you, Sarah," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "Whatever you need, I'm here." She nodded, her sobs gradually quieting. "Thank you, Emily. I don't deserve your support, but thank you." Over the next few weeks, things didn't get any easier. Sarah's pregnancy became more visible, and the whispers started. Some people were kind, offering their support. Others were not so understanding. I heard the rumors, the judgments, the harsh words that followed her wherever she went, and I could see the toll it was taking on her. I wanted to shield her from it all. I wanted to make the pain go away. But I couldn't. All I could do was be there for her, to listen, to comfort her, and to help her make the hardest decisions of her life. And through it all, I learned something important. No matter how much we try to protect our loved ones, sometimes they have to face their own struggles, their own fears. And all we can do is stand by their side and remind them that they're not alone. Months later, Sarah made the decision to keep the baby. She had the full support of her family, and I stood beside her every step of the way. The road was not easy. There were tears, hard conversations, and moments of doubt. But there were also moments of joy. The excitement of the baby's first ultrasound, the baby shower we threw together, and finally, the birth of her beautiful baby boy. Sarah had come through it all. She was stronger than she ever knew, and so was I. Because the truth was, I had been hiding something too, something I hadn't realized until Sarah opened up to me. I had been afraid of losing her, afraid of what it would mean for our friendship if she made such a big, life-changing decision. But when I saw her hold her son for the first time, I knew that the only thing that really mattered was that we were there for each other, no matter what. Now, years later, I still look back on that time with a mixture of emotions. The most to you are the ones you should never take for granted. It's been years now. I'm in college, far away from the high school drama and mistakes that once seemed so big. But I still think about Hannah. I still think about how I hurt her, how I let fear control me. And I still think about how, despite everything, we're both okay now. If you're listening to this and you've ever lied to someone you care about, or kept something from them because you were afraid of losing them, I want you to know something. It's not too late. You can always make things right, but only if you're willing to be honest, only if you're willing to face the truth, no matter how hard it is. That's the lesson I've learned. And that's the lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.